All right, hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First, I'm giving honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace and salutations to all my fellow Akim and Akwat out there that follow Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai with truth and sincerity. Play some background music real quick. It's better. But yeah, the title of this video is going to be called Tribe of Reuben, Seminole Indians, the City of Miami. And if you don't know who the tribe of Reuben is, according to the Bible, they are the so-called Seminole Indians. And the Lord put the spirit on me to make this video because I always want to know what Miami is, man. And I never went there, but I always want to know the history of not just the Seminoles, but the indigenous people of Southeast of North America, because the native people of Southeast of North America, the majority of those tribes are Reubenites. Okay. And the city of Miami, before it was founded and it was developed and became the city that it is known today, it was inhabitants of Israelites from the tribe of Reuben. Okay, and that's where you get the Seminoles now, because they are also, the Seminoles are an indigenous people that are also runaways of earlier indigenous people that were fighting against the Spaniards. So the city of Miami, if you do your history, it was built on the bloodshed, the deaths, and the great devastation of the Israelites, all right, especially from the tribe of Reuben. So I'm gonna play this video real quick, and I hope this lesson is edifying. Well, after this lesson, I'm gonna do a lesson on the tribe of Judah of Seneca Village. I want to do more historical videos, because there might be somebody that doesn't know what tribe they're from, and I hope and they come across one of these, not just my videos, but many of brothers' videos on historical events or historical lessons on a certain Israelite tribe, either from the tribe of Naphtali, tribe of Asher, tribe of Judah, Gad, Reuben. So I hope this lesson is edifying. I also grabbed some scriptures. I also grabbed some articles. Okay. The first one I'm going to grab is this one. See, basically what I was saying was, all right, the Miami people, or the tribe of Reuben, the Miami people are known as the indigenous people of what is known as Miami. But like I was saying, most of Southeast of North America were predominantly Reuben. Okay, you had some Gadites amongst them, of course, but it was mainly Reuben, the Cherokee, the Miccosukee, the Yamasee, the Tomoka, the Alabama Indians, Chickasaw Indians, the Caddo Indians, the Natchez Indians. Those are, the majority of them were Reubenites. Okay. Now you be thinking, how is that? How is Gad and Reuben are different? Well, if you go into the prophecies, Gad is a truth. Okay, Gad is a truth. All right, Gad, a truth shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. All right, Gad, named Gad is known as a troop, a warrior. All right, a troop shall overcome him, and that was the U.S. cavalry of the 18th century, U.S. Cavalry Indian War. Okay, because here's the thing, Gad made peace treaties and allies with the cavalry, but the Esau, known as the American Cavalry, the United States Army, they broke all those peace treaties. But with Reuben wasn't sliding with the peace treaties, man. Reuben didn't want to develop a peace treaty or any form of relationships with Esau, because Reuben knew that they were better than Esau. The Reubenites knew, the so-called Seminoles, or many of the indigenous people of America, of Southeast of North America, the tribe of Reuben, they knew that they were better than Esau. And also, one thing, if you do your history on Gad and Reuben, Gad, Gad had what? If you look at Gad and Reuben's architecture and infrastructure, how the way they live, Gad had what? Gad had I'm gonna type in Native American. Native American tiki, what's it called? TP. All right. Yeah, all right. So Gad had teepees. Now, did you have Reuben amongst Gad? Of course, because Gad and Reuben lived mostly in North America, so we intermingled amongst each other in many tribes. Mainly, Gad had teepees. Gad lived in a hut, a tent, and that's the symbol of Gad. All right, Gad. Simple. It's a teepee, a military tent. That's what a teepee is, a military tent. Okay, see, a military tent. Because Jacob is known as being a calm, resting man. Okay, they like to dwell in a tent. They like to relax, and that's Gad. So Gad had a teepee, but Reuben, difference between Gad and Reuben had Native American chickie. Reuben had a chickie. Okay. It was basically an outside tent. It's a chickie was made by Seminole Indians of the southern region. A chickie was a platform house made of logs. The bottom floor was about 3 feet off the ground for protection from flooding and animals. The roof was slanted sometimes of the year. People hung huge canvases painting contains curtains. Read it again. People hung canvases, curtains, walls to keep out the rain. And press this real quick. I can't really see that. There we go. It says where was I? It says, yeah, the people hung huge canvases, curtains, walls to keep out the rain and cold. They hung many things from the rafters of the chickie because they had to keep their things off the wet ground to keep them safe. Babies were kept in swings hanging from the rafters. Only one family lived in each chickie. They used blankets or hides called comfortables when they slept, but only had few other pieces of furniture. Right? They lived in chickies because Reuben lived in more tropical areas. Man. Okay, Reuben had to use palm tree leaves as their roofs, man. But Esau would claim this as primitive. Nah, man, that's just the natural way how Reuben and Gad lived, man. Okay, so that's the difference. I just wanted to make a little note on that. That's the difference. If you look at the history on Gad and Reuben, Gad was conquered by the United States American military, which Reuben wasn't. Okay, Reuben is known as the unconquerable people. But I'm gonna start with this article known as the Miami people, because that's where you get Miami today. The Miami people lived around the lake of Okeechobee, from at least 300 BC until around the 1700 AD. Their ancestors probably lived in the region early as 1000 BC, which is just false because Northern Kingdom came around 722 BC after the Assyrian captivity. Okay, so it was more earlier than that. When Esau said, the Native Americans came 20,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago BC, or 4,000 BC, hey, you gotta take in the meat, spit out the bones, because if you do actual history, the Northern Kingdom came around 719 to 722 BC. Okay, they was fleeing from the Assyrians. All right, and they landed in the world known as Azareth. This is the Americas today, because some villages sites show continual cultural development from that era forward. The Miami were the progenitors of the Glades culture. During the period from around 200 AD to 1150 AD, the ancestors of the Miami lived in a sophisticated society of many towns that were interconnected by canals and raised causeways. They built ceremonial mounds, complex earthworks, and ball courts, and ornamental fronds and earthen effigies. Almost all the symbols associated with the Mississippi culture between 900 AD and 1600 AD could be found in Miami towns as early as 500 AD or earlier. The canoes of the Miami were identical in shapes to those of the Mayas, which were the tribe of Zebulon, and quite different from the dugout canoes of advanced indigenous people further north. So right, and they said there's an article that I said I saw. It's a Maya province. They said it was a Mayan province in Florida. So Reuben and Zebulon kind of had some form of it says there's no record of Florida, however, theory suggests the ancient Maya influence area connected to Ocala, presence of Maya. Yeah, that's where they get the name Ocala from, because that's a Mayan name. Right, Ocala, a Mayan province. Lock if I'm all over the place. But I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna grab this scripture. I'm gonna grab this article in a minute. But yeah, man, that's how you know that we're the Northern Kingdom, because we're all connected. Okay, Reuben had southeast of North America. Gad had most of North America. Zebulon and Issachar had Central Latin America. Okay, Asher, Naphtali had South America on the islands. You had Simeon, Manasseh, okay, Ephraim. Okay, that's how you know that we're the Northern Kingdom, man, because we're all connected. All right, through those islands in the Americas, man. And we share, and we're Israelites, man. We share the same Israelite spirit, but different characteristics. It says the Miami civilization collapsed around 1150 AD at the same time that the Acropolis of Okmulgee, 600 miles to the north, was abandoned. There apparently was a connection between these two cultural collapses, but it had not been identified at the present time. Traditional folklore is that Miami means big water, which also is a translation of the Isate Creek word for Lake Okeechobee. The north of Okeechobee lived in the Mayacoa, the Mayaca in Spanish, who named in the hybrid indigenous Arawak meant Maya people. Okay. Says most of the people that we now call Maya did not call themselves Maya. It was a province on the northern end of the Yucatan Peninsula. In 1502, Bartolome Colon, the brother of Cristobal Colon, which is Christopher Columbus, and Cristobal's sons, Fernando, encountered a large tribe canoe from a province that he called Mayam Val Yucatan. Yucatan was a medieval Castilian word for Yucatan in the late 1500s and early 1600s. I want to change the music real quick. Give me 1 second. This music is kind of bothering me. I should put something more calm on. All right, this is better. Where was I? It's all right. Christopher Columbus, he came, and in the Spanish, they came and conquered the native people. Okay. I'm gonna grab this article real quick in the city of Miami. Okay, because man, when I tell you that Miami, what I was trying to say, that Florida is filled with many Native American tribes, man. And these are just the ones that are on record. There's many tribes that we don't know, but the history of Florida. All right, so you have the Miami people, which you have the name Miami. Okay, Miami people. Now, I want to let you brothers and sisters know that there's two Miami tribes. There's the Miami tribe in Illinois, and there's the Miami people in Florida. But they're two different tribes. Okay, they just have the same name, but two different tribes. Because the Miami people of Illinois are known as I think they call themselves the stream people, the water stream people. Miami people. Miami, Illinois Indians. I know I spelled it wrong, but yep. Yeah, downstream people. The Miami are descendants of the Miamia, or who are the downstream people, are originally spoken Algonquian language known as the Miami Illinois, which undergoes language. Yep. So they're different. They're from a different state, a different part of the of North America, which they can be Reubenites too, and Gadites. Gadites and Reubenites world as I. That's I just want to make that little history. But yeah, the Miami name is AI overview. Yes, the city of Miami is named after the Miami people, the Native American tribe that lived around Lake Okeechobee, Shlaki, which called Lake Miami, meaning big water. Okay, so that city of Miami is known as Big Water. The Miami River was named after the lake, and the city was later adopted its name from the river. The Miami were a Florida-based people unrelated to the Miami people. Say, like I said, the two different tribes of Israelites. Okay, because these people, the Miami people of Illinois from the Great Lakes region, those could be Gadites. But the Miami people of Florida, those are Reubenites. There's two different people, man. Okay, so that's where you get the city of Miami from. Okay, so the city, so the Miami is named after the Miami River, man, which means big water. And who lived around that big water? Reuben. Okay, so it's the Miami where Native American people lived around Lake Miami, who lived around Lake Miami, known as Lake Okeechobee, and the Balade Glade area of Florida from the beginning of the common area until 17th and 18th century. In the language of Miami, Calusa, Cuesta tribes, Miami meant to big water. The origin of the Calusa language have not been determined, as the meaning of only 10 words were recorded before extinction. The current name Okeechobee is derived from the Hittite word meaning big water. The Miamis have no linguistic or cultural relationship with the Miami people of the Great Lake region. Okay, see, two different tribes. They have the similar names, but two different tribes. The city of Miami is named after the Miami River, also derived its name from the Lake Miami. All right. So Gad lived mostly in the Great Lake region, but the Miami people were mainly Reubenites. Okay. It says the Miamis built ceremonial and village earthworks mounds around Lake Okeechobee, similar to those of the Mississippi culture, right? And a lot of the Mississippi Indians are Reubenites as well. Because one thing about Mississippian Indians, they came down from the Mississippi area. They built a lot of mounds. Gad, I'm not trying to segregate Gad. Gad built mounds too. Okay, but those mounds originate from the South, man. The earlier mound builders. Fort Center is the area occupied by the Miamis in historic times. They dug many canals as others earthworks to use as pathways for their canoes. Dugout canoes were platforms of the type with the shovel-shaped ends, resembling those used in Central America and the West Indies, rather than the point-end canoes used by other people in southeastern United States. Okay. It says Hernando de Escalante Fontana, who lived with the tribes of southern Florida for 17 years in the 16th century, said that the Miamis lived in many towns of 30 or 40 inhabitants each, and that there were many more places where only a few people lived. The game and fish of Okeechobee provide most of the Miami's food. They use fishing wares and ate black bass, eels, American alligator tails, and Virginia possum, terrapin snakes, and processed kuntai for flour. In high water season, they lived on the mountains and ate only fish. All right, they were going off. Okay, Reuben was going off, man. Eating the foul animals. There's nothing wrong with bass and fish, but it depends what type of fish you're eating. You got to eat fish that's scaled. But they were eating abominable foods, man, abominable animals that were not meant to be eaten. Alligators and possum and snakes and God knows what, man. It says in high water seasons they lived on their mountains and ate only fish. At the beginning of the 18th century, raiders from the province of Carolina, joined by Indian allies, repeatedly launched raids in Spanish Florida, burning villages and capturing, killing members of all Florida tribes down to the southern end of the Florida peninsula. They sold the captives into slavery, destined for market from the Boston to Barbados. 1710, a group of 280 refugees from Florida that include the Cacu of Miami arrived in Cuba. The Miami had a fort on the coast of South Cape Canaveral. In 1743, Spanish missionaries sent to Biscayne Bay report that remnants of the Miamis were also called Miamis or Mayamis, were part of a group of about 100 people, which also include Santa Lozos and Mayaca people. Okay. Still lived 4 days north of the Miami River. Any survivors were presumed to have been evacuated to Cuba when Spanish lost control of Florida in the Treaty of Paris in 1763. So a lot of Reubenites fled to Cuba because they were getting slaughtered and being wiped out by them Spaniards, man. And also the plagues. You got to think about the plagues that the Spaniards brought over, the smallpox, certain diseases and illnesses that were not common or not strong enough for. They were weakening Native American what's the term I'm looking for? Native American immune systems. It was easy for them to catch the diseases. So a lot of Reubenites fled to Cuba, man. So a lot of Cubans are actually Reubenites. All right. And that's spiritual because half the tribe of Reuben, Manasseh, Reuben, and Gad. And these are the main three warrior tribes that was part of that when we was coming to the land of Israel. Okay. When we was coming to the land of Israel, these were the warrior tribes, Manasseh, Reuben, and Gad. Yep, this is Joshua 22, 1 to 14. Then Joshua called the Reubenites, so-called Seminole Indians, and the Gadites, North American Indians, and the half tribe of Manasseh, so-called Cubans, and said unto them, you have kept all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and have obeyed my voice in all that I have commanded you. You have not left your brethren these many days unto this day, but have kept the charge of the commandment of the Lord your God, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And now the Lord your God hath given rest unto your brethren, as he has promised. Therefore now return ye and get you unto your tents, and unto the land of your possessions, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you on the other side of Jordan. But take diligent heed to the commandment and law which Moses, the servant of the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, charged you, to love the commandments and cleave unto them and serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. What was the one they were saying they was going to battle? Yep, that's the one I was looking for. I could grab this too. But yeah, the sons of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh were warriors, man. Those were the elite warrior tribes. Now, don't get me wrong, all tribes of Israel are warriors, but warrior tribes, from the tribe of Judah all the way down to Issachar. But the main, if you want to, if you think about it, like the special forces or the special elite warrior tribes of Israel was the tribe of Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh. So this First Chronicles 5:18, the sons of Reuben and the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men able to bear buckle and sword and shoot with bows and skillful in war, were 44,703 that went out to the war. Right, because they wanted that land of I think that was a different time, but basically those were the warrior tribes. Is this it? Yeah, because when we was coming to Israel, we wanted that Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh. We wanted that land in Jordan, which is known as Jordan today. Yep. Joshua. Jordan. It says Joshua 4:12 describe how the warriors of the tribe of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh crossed over the Jordan River armed for war, following the rest of Israel after the Ark of the Covenant have crossed. Okay. Let me see. Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh fought in Jordan. There we go. Scriptures. There we go. I think this is it. Slovakia. If I'm all over the place, I just want to make sure that this lesson is edifying to those that are watching. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, because the things that we're doing right now, the things that happened in the past is what the tribes are doing right now. Okay? Because it was hard for Esau to overcome Reuben. It was hard for Esau to overcome Gad and Manasseh. And mainly Reuben, because we were the unconquerable people. Okay? There was many wars and many conflicts and events that occurred to make Esau enslave us, man. That we had to submit. So this is Joshua 10:1 to 10:18. So Joshua ordered the officers of the people, go through the camp and tell the people, get your provisions ready. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan River here to go and take the possession of the land the Lord your God is giving you for your own. 12. But to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, Joshua said, remember the commandment that Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you after he said, the Lord your God will give you rest by giving you this land. Your wives, your children, your livestock may stay in the land, and Moses gave you east of the Jordan. But all your fighting men ready for battle must cross over ahead of the fellow Israelites. You are to help them until the Lord give them rest, as he has done for you, until they too have taken possession of the land the Lord your God has given them. After that, you may go back and occupy your own land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you east of Jordan towards the sunrise. Make sure the comment board is up. That's all. Shalom up. Then the 16, Shalak is just drinking some water. It says 16. Then they answered Joshua, whatever you have commanded us, we will do. Wherever you send us, we will go. As we fully obeyed Moses, so we will obey you. Only may the Lord your God, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, be with you as he was with Moses. However, whoever rebels against your word does not obey it. Whatever you may command them will be put to death. Only to be strong and courageous, right? So the elite tribes, those elite warrior tribes, Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh, had to go into the land to help the Israelites conquer the land of Canaan from them Hamites, man. Okay, that shows you that we are those people today, because we're doing the same thing that we did in those days, man, of conquering and building our civilization. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, where was it? I think it was I just showed you that we're the same people, because I'll just pause the music real quick. I'm gonna show you a little video. Y'all watch it on yourselves, but I'm not gonna show you the whole video. I mean, if it's the whole video, then that's that's just the spirit. But I just want to bring out some points that just shows you that we are all the same tribes of Israel. We're all the same nation. from the tribe of Reuben, from the tribe of Gad, Manasseh, Ephraim, Judah, all the tribes, man. We're all the Israelites.
Text or chat 988. Free, confidential, 24/7. Someone's always there to listen. 988. You're not alone. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Let me see.
Start showing pieces of pot to people. And her answer was the Seminoles. So I thought, okay, well, that makes sense. They're Indians, Native Americans. A friend came to class one day with a box of artifacts, and he started showing pieces of pottery and this beautiful axe made out of a green stone. And I said, well, where did you find that? He said, well, I found it on the Miami River. That began a lifetime interest in the archaeology, because what he showed me demonstrated that there were much more ancient people in Miami than what I had ever even conceived of. And we now know through the archaeological record that the DeCasta were a people that resided in southeast Florida from what is currently Boca Raton to the north, southward to Key West, and westward through Everglades National Park. They occupied a major part of the peninsula and focused their principal town at the mouth of the Miami River because of its confluence with Biscayne Bay. This was the ideal location for human habitation. Not only did it provide a transportation corridor through the river going directly into the Everglades, but it also provided access directly into the bay to what is now Miami Beach, Fisher Island, Virginia Key. They were a canoe culture in the sense that they were very dependent on dugout canoes. I'm sure if we were looking at a DeCasta today, we would find the males were very strong and powerful chest and shoulders from all the canoeing they were doing. They were able to exploit tremendous resources from the reefs offshore.
Right, because the reason why these people were strong, because, let me grab that scripture. I should have grabbed the scripture when I first started the lesson, but it's okay. I'm just going through the spirit, just going through the I just wanted to bring out the history, and I'm trying to make sure this lesson is edifying to those that are listening. But this is I'm sorry, 1. This is just Genesis 41 and 49 and 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may call you, that which shall fall before you in these last days. Okay, in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and those are the tribes, and hearken unto Israel your father, right? Because Israel is the father of the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indies, and Haitians. Reuben, all right, thou art my firstborn. It's Genesis 49:3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. So, right, and not just physical strength. Reuben was able to overcome the United States military, because that's prophecy. Okay, if you think about it, a lot of Americans, they know about the Vietnam War, but the first Vietnam War the first Vietnam War was not really Vietnam. It was on American soil, man. It was on American territory, and that was called the Seminole Wars. And a lot of American soldiers were losing. Andrew Jackson, the American Army, was losing against the Seminoles because of the environment. And Reuben knew how to use the Everglades for their own benefit to overcome Esau. And Reuben are very strong people, man. Physically, mentally, they're more upright. Okay, the reason why they was called the 5 civilized tribes, because they did took the clothing and the apparel of the Edomites and the Europeans, but they had a better thinking. Okay, because they're Israelites. We supposed to be the light of the world. But it's at the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. So, right, Reuben has great dignity, all right, great power and great strength, man. All right, Reuben was terrifying to them Edomite soldiers in the Seminole Wars. But Reuben lost that position of being the first tribe, because why? It's Genesis 49:4. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to my father's bed, unto thy father's bed, but then defilest thou it and went up to my couch. Right? Reuben went up to Jacob's bed and lay with his concubine and defiled his bed, man, because he was unstable. Unstable as water. Okay, Reuben, as a tribe of people, we're constantly, how can I say, we're I don't say, yeah, we're unstable, man. Okay, we're all over the place, man. We go everywhere. We don't stay in one place. Okay, Reuben doesn't stay in one thing. That's why hey, that's the spirit, man. That's how you know I'm Reuben, man. Because when I start with something, I'll be over here, I'll be over there, I'll be over here, I'll be over there, I'll be doing this article, that article, grabbing this scripture. That's the spirit. But and that's just, I'm just using that example. But Reuben, we're all over the place, man. Okay, we can't really stay in one place. And Reubenites, here's the thing about Reubenites, and that's just speaking of travel sense. Reuben can't really stay in one city. Or Reuben can't just stay in one town. Reuben will always constantly move, man. Reuben will be on this side of this area, and he'd be on the other side in another area, man. Hey, 144, if I could think, how about me outside? Basically, what I'm trying to say, that we're adventurous people. Reubenites don't like to stay in one city. They don't like to stay in one area or environment. They constantly move. Okay. They're nomadic. We're naturally nomadic. Okay. If you don't know what nomadic is, all right, what does it mean to be nomadic? Roaming about from place to place aimlessly, tranquilly, or without a fixed pattern or movement. Okay. We're constantly nomadic, man. We're constantly moving. All right. Lock here. Says the term nomadic describes a way of life where a person or group moves from place to place rather than living in one permanent location. Okay, so we don't like to stay in one place. We constantly move. All right, and that shows you that those Miami people, the indigenous tribe of southeast of North America, were Reubenites because they constantly were moving, man. What was I? There we go. So unstable as water. Okay, we defiled our father's bed, and that's why that position of the head tribe, because usually Reuben was supposed to be the head tribe, but we went off, and that position went down from Joseph to, I believe, Levi, and now to officially Judah, and that was all being orchestrated through Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, because the Lord wanted Judah to be the head tribe. But when you have a firstborn son, you give everything, all your blessings and wealth and riches to your firstborn son, because that's the pinnacle of your strength. Okay. But according to prophecy, Judah had to become the head tribe. That's just how the Lord made it, man. The so-called Negroes the so-called African Americans and Negroes are the head tribe of all Israelites. Yeah, you could just see how they move, man. Okay, they have a kingly vibe about them, but that doesn't belittle or make Reuben less. No, man, it's just that's just the curse that we have on right now. All right, one of the curses that we have right now in the kingdom, the tribe of Reuben, man, we're gonna be beautiful, man. We're gonna be taken care of, man. Okay, we like all Israelite tribes, like all Israelite tribes, Reuben will show out. We're gonna be glowing, man. Perfect, beautiful, and stable, man. So Shalaki, for me rambling, I just wanted to grab that scripture, because that Edomite did say something that pointed out, like, how that is part of the scriptures, that these people were a strong and dignified people. And also one thing, that's nothing, before I just want to continue, the difference between Gad and Reuben. Gad had more of a wild spirit, while Reuben had more a dignified spirit. All right, if we don't know what dignified is, we had more dignity. We had more like we act like we had the spirit like the elder Shazak said. We have the spirit like we should be on a throne. Like we have a aristocratic royal spirit about us. All right, having shown a compass or serious manner that is worthy of respect. Okay, dignity. All right,
dignified.
All right, what's regal? We have a regal spirit as Reubenites. When someone is described as regal, means they possess a dignified, noble, impressive manner or appearance, or suitable for a king or queen, which queen means whore, but you know what I mean. All right. Our Israelites have a regal, noble, higher mannered spirit about them, man. Especially Reubenites starting this truth. You know, you brothers, man, you can agree, but they are from the tribe of Reuben. You think that you walk around here like you a prince, and that's in our spirit because we are as a people, not just the tribe of Reuben, but Israel as a whole. We are a royal people. But Reuben, we take that shit to the max, man. You know. So I'm gonna play this video, Shalakia.
well as the interior Everglades and the Miami River. The fishing for the DeKesta was actually quite sophisticated in some ways, in the sense that they were not just throwing a line into the water, but they actually had nets. They would stretch the nets across the Miami River with the current changing. They were really very adept at taking advantage of the local environment. They had fishing wares, from what we can tell, by simply constructing with probably wood and netting and funneling a fish going into a particular place. They could just seal that off and actually keep the fish alive if they wish for as long as they needed to. Also, hunting was very important. We find lots of deer bones. We find raccoons. We find squirrels. We find.
And that's how you know that they was cooking off abominable foods like snakes and squirrels and possums and stuff like that. But that's where you get barbecue from. All right, Taino word barbecue. Hold on. That's how you know that we the same people, because we share the same similar things, man. Taino word for barbecue. The word for barbecue in the Taino language is barbecue. The word was adopted by Spanish explorers and changed to barbacoa, later made its way into English. Right. So that barbecuing your food came back from that goes back to Ephraim, or the Tainos, or Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay. And it went up that technique of cooking goes up to Florida, to Reuben. See, so everything that we do, it transforms from one tribe to another. All right, any form of trend or a cultural change or attire, it goes. We all share the same thing, man. We're the Israelites. We're the Northern Kingdom, man.
Even small rats, reptiles, alligators, snakes. What we don't find often are panthers, bear, wolves, and of course these are the predators. These are at the top of the food chain and probably not very good to eat, and probably very dangerous to hunt for that matter. The DeKesta and the Indians in general of South Florida were one of the few native peoples in North America who developed a complex, socially stratified society without the advantage of agriculture. And the reason is because the maritime resources were so extensive that they were able to actually develop this culture just simply based on fishing. The Spanish arrived in the 16th century. They're greeted with tremendous hostility. The reason they're so hostile in part is because they've already gotten word from Cuba and the Bahamas, from those native people, that when the Europeans arrive, you better be ready because it isn't going to be a walk in the park. So this very combative relationship continues for at least 100 or more years. But eventually, walk in the park, that when the Europeans arrive, you better already get greeted with tremendous hostility. The reason they're so hostile in part is because they've already gotten word from Cuba and the Bahamas, from those
they got word from Cuba and the Bahamas. And who lived in Cuba and the Bahamas? Manasseh. Okay. Let me see Bahamas map. See? Oh, it could be Reuben too. The Bahamas could be Reubenites too. All right, and also Benjamin, because that's part of the transatlantic slave trade. But hey, before the slave trade, hey, we had the Bahamas, man. Okay, of Native Americans that lived in the Bahamas. Bahamian, I want to see something. Bahamian Indians. All right, indigenous Bahamans were known as the Lakian people, a branch of Taino people who inhabited the islands between 8th and 16th century CE. Okay. See, Reuben. So they could be a mixture of Reuben and Manasseh. But that just shows you, man, The tribes are here today, and they know who they are. All right, Manasseh gave the word to Reuben, like, hey, you better prepare for them Europeans because they about to bring some shit, man. So that's where this began the conquest, the Spanish conquest of the Americas.
Native people that when the Europeans arrive, you better be ready because it isn't going to be a walk in the park. So this very combative relationship continues for at least 100 or more years. But eventually, the Spanish contact
See? Fucking killing off all the of our brothers, man, from Manasseh to Reuben. These are Reubenites, man. These are my people. And this is not just Reuben, all the tribes from Ephraim to Manasseh to Gad to Asher to Naphtali to Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Judah. All the tribes have been touched by this damn devil, man. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushua going to bring blood upon him.
through efforts of Pedro Menendez, who was the founder of St. Augustine, arrives in Miami in 1567, convinces the Duquesne to allow him to put a fort with a Spanish mission at the mouth of the river. Well, that enterprise doesn't last very long because there's warfare and hostilities break out. That attempt at creating a mission at the mouth of the river occurs again in 1743, again with equally disastrous results.
The Spanish, they believe, built behind the native village. So if you think of Second Avenue, of course, didn't exist, as a dividing line in a little bit of a way, and we don't know.
Y'all could watch this video yourself, man. But this just shows you that this place was built on blood. And I want to grab the history of Miami real quick. Modern day Miami. Hold on. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Miami City. Says, give me 1 second, Shalakia, on Wikipedia. Matter of fact, I'm going chat GPT real quick. Yeah, I was going to grab Mississippi culture. Let me see. Chat GPT. Miami. Come on, not right now. Miami City history. How was it found? It says Miami, Florida has a rich, unique history of tied to Native American heritage, Spanish exploration, and later American development. Here's a concise breakdown of how Miami was found. The Native American origin, or the area around modern-day Miami, was originally inhabited for thousands of years by Native American people, primarily Tequesta tribe. The Miami River and Biscayne Bay were central to their way of life. Yep. And it says in 1513, Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon, the land landed nearby. Spain claimed Florida, Shalaki, and missionaries tried to convert the local tribes, but the Tequesta were eventually decimated by disease and conquest. Okay. And they named Florida. That's where you get the name Florida from. It means land of flowers. Okay. Florida name, meaning. Yeah, flowery land. There we go. Land of flowers or blooming. All right. Because the old name was called Floridia, but in English it's known as Florida. So this place was that city Miami was built on bloodshed, man. Built on the bloodshed of Reubenites. That said, 19th century U.S. Acquisition and early settlement. In 1821, the United States acquired Florida from Spain. Fort Dallas was established in the 1830s during the Seminole Wars, making early U.S. military presence in the area. The area remains sparsely populated for decades due to swamps and mosquitoes. It says the role of Julia Tuttle, the mother of Miami, in 1980s. Julia Tuttle, a wealthy widow from Ohio, bought land on the Miami River. She believed the area climate and location had great potential, worked to develop it. All right. It says the arrival of Henry Flagler and the railroad. Toto famously persuaded Henry Flagler, a railroad magnate, to extend his Florida East Coast Railway to Miami by offering him land. A freeze further north in Florida convinced Flagler to take risk. Miami was unaffected. The railroad was reached in Miami in 1896. The official founding. Miami was officially incorporated as a city on July 28, 1896. At the time, it was around 300 residents. Why it grew? It grew exploded due to its warm climate, role as a port city, tourism, and real estate booms, notably in the 1920s. Later became a hub for Latin American immigration, especially after the Cuban Revolution in 1959. What was what's her name? Toto? What was Julia Toto's views on the Native Americans? Yeah, it says historical context of her time. Julia Tootle lived from 1849 to 1898. 1898, a period when Native Americans were being forcibly removed from their lands across the United States. Right, because you had the Trail of Tears. By the time she arrived in South Florida in the 1890s, the Tusquega, originally inhabitants of the Miami area, had long since disappeared due to disease, displacement, and colonization. The Seminole tribe, however, still lived in the Everglades region. No record of advocacy or opposition. There's no survival writings or speeches or letters from the total expressions, opinions about Native Americans, positive or negative. All right, so she's just known for building a city. How did she find Miami? Full context. Let me see. It says, so this Edomite woman, I want to just grab it from Wikipedia. Hold on. Yeah, it says Julia Tootle discovered and moved to the area that would become Miami in the early 1890s, but her connection to the region began even earlier. Here's the full context of how she came to find Miami and play a key role in its founding. Family roots and early exposure to South Florida. Julia Tootle, known as Nee Stervant, was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 18. Come on, not right now. Damn. Fucking ChatGPT, man. Hold on, give me 1 second. I don't want to restart it. I'm just going to go like this because if I restart, it might delete everything. So I want to press the restart button up here. So it says in 1870s, her father, E.S. Stervant, brought the land along the Miami River in South Florida. That he believed that the area had agricultural potential due to its fertile soil, warm climate, and proximity to Biscayne Bay. Biscayne Bay. All right. It says Julia visited the area with her family during the time, which planted the seed of interest in the region. Personal loss and bold decision. Julia married Frederick Toto and lived in Cleveland, but her husband died in 1886, leaving her a widow with 2 children. In 1891, after her father's death, was struggling with financial setbacks, Julia decides to sell her home and remaining possessions in Ohio. With the proceeds, she purchased her father's old homestead and surrounding land in Miami area. Give me 1 second, Shalakia. Fucking neighbors, man. Shalakia about that. So it says with the proceed of her father's Shalaki, with the proceeds she purchased her father's old homestead and surrounding land in the Miami area. At the time, Miami was not a city; it was remote, swampy, and sparsely populated. home to just few hundred settlers, Seminole natives, and homesteaders. It's right. It was just a shithole. Okay, well, not a shithole for the Seminoles, our tribe, because Reuben Reuben knew about the land and knew how to live with the land. But for Esau, it was a shithole. Okay, a vision for a tropical paradise. Tuttle saw something others did not. Strategic location, mild climate, and untapped land had major potential. She envisioned a thriving city with tourism, agriculture, and especially citrus and commerce. But the region lacked one thing: transportation and infrastructure. The strategic uh, pitch to Henry Flagler. Henry Flagler was a powerful railroad and hotel magnate, co-founder of the Standard Oil and builder of the Florida East Coast Railway. In the early 1890s, his railway reached as far south as Palm Beach, but he had no interest in extending it further due to its area's isolation. So right, he didn't even want to build in Florida because it was a shithole. It was basically empty. That's like building a railroad to the middle of nowhere in Arizona. But that idea that Julia had, she wanted a big city in that climate, that warm climate, and that's where we have Miami today. Now Miami is like the tropical version of New York City. It's like a southern New York City. That's how big and populous it is, man. Okay, or I was watching videos last night. They call it the tropical Wall Street. Okay, the Wall Street of the South, because of how wealthy and rich the city is. And don't get me wrong, the city is beautiful, but it's still built on the blood of the Israelites, especially from the tribe of Reuben. All right, that's what we have. Like, man, a lot of things came out of Miami, man. Miami Vice, Bad Boys. This goes on and on, man. Miami Heat. Okay, now it's a thriving city in Esau's kingdom. Where was I? Right. It says, but he had no interest in extending it further due to the area's isolation. Julia Toto wrote to Flagler multiple times, urging him to extend his railroad to Miami. In winter of 1894 and 1894 to 95, a major freeze devastated citrus crops across Florida, except in Miami. Toto seized the moment. She sent fresh orange blossoms to Flagler to prove Miami's unique frost-free climate. This finally convinced Flagler that the area has economic potential. So, right, these Edomites saw the richness of this land and that the Lord put the spirit on this man to build this city, all right, to build that railroad. All right, so this is all being orchestrated by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the deal that built a city. Teto offered land to Flagler to build a railroad station, construct a hotel, and support future city. Flagler agreed in 1896. The Florida East Coast Railway was extended to the areas. The same year, on July 28, 1896, Miami was officially incorporated as a city. Julie became known as the mother of Miami, the only woman credited with founding a major American city. Right. And that's how you got that in Miami. That's an effeminate city, man. It's a lot of effeminate spirits. It's basically built for women because it was founded by a woman. Okay, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to destroy it, but he's going to destroy it with all great destruction. And no matter how nice the climate is, don't get me wrong, brothers like to go out and get a drink and walk and see palm trees and stuff like that. But you got to understand that these cities that Esau founded was built on the backs of the Israelites, the bloodshed, the desolation of the Israelites. So no matter how nice the city is in America, the Lord's going to bring it down. Okay, legacy. It says legacy in final years. Toto saw her vision come to life, but did not live long after Miami's incorporation. She died in 1898, just 2 years later, with limited financial wealth but a lasting legacy. Today, she is honored with a statue near Miami downtown, remembered as a pioneer woman in American urban history. Let me see. So, hey, she founded the city of Miami, but hey, it's still an oppressing city. Let me see. Let me grab But hey, that city of Miami, if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for Reuben, all right, if it wasn't for Reuben, Miami wouldn't be there today. Because even if she did found the city of Miami through her father's homestead land, that land would still belong to Reuben. Okay, and Miami got its name from the Miami people. So Jeremiah 10:16, the proportion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the form of all things. Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. So right, the Lord put the spirit on these heathens to found these cities. Because Jacob is the form of all things, and the Lord is the ultimate, is the ultimate Judite. He's the ultimate Israelite God. Okay. So all the ideas of finding a city, everything, it all came from Jacob, man. And Jacob is the form of all things. Even if you do the paleo history of Florida, it was still founded by Reubenites. So Reuben should be the true Floridians. They should be the true people of Miami. Not you goddamn Edomites, man. And if it wasn't for Reuben to name that land Miami, okay, and living with that land or establishing a civilization that you them Edomite Spaniards came and slaughtered, Miami would be known today. And like I was saying, like it was saying, what's her name? Julia Tootle, she's an Edomite, okay? She's just an Edomite. She founded a city on a land that belonged to Israel. All right, it was founded on bloodshed, man. Let me see. Ethnicity. Yeah, she's an Edomite, man. This is the woman that found a city on the land filled with bloodshed of the Israelites. So she's going to slavery. So what if she was trying to make a good entrepreneurial movement, or she was trying to be wealthy and had a vision? Hey, still your vision was in vain, man. Okay. See, you Edomites, y'all don't understand that the land that you're walking on is filled with the blood of God's chosen people. But hey, if it wasn't for Reuben, still Miami wouldn't be the city if it was now, man. Okay. But hey, that's what happens when you went against Yahweh by Shemi outside, because that's the curses that the Lord will send a nation against us that we don't know. This is Deuteronomy 28:49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. That's the eagle is Esau, the Edomites, and the tongue that thou shalt not understand is English, Portuguese, Spanish. Okay, let me go a bit to that image. See, a nation that you can, a nation from far off flieth as the eagle in a language that you cannot understand. See, fighting against the Spaniard.
Continues for at least.
See, but these Spaniards conquered the Northern Kingdom, and you have the Northern Kingdom today claiming that they Spanish descent, that their father goes back to a white guy from Spain. No, you're an Israelite, and even if you are descended from a white guy from Spain, all right, you might be a terror. But that whole Spanish thing, hey, you so-called Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, y'all are God's chosen people. Y'all are the people, the Northern Kingdom of the Bible. Y'all the Lord's people, man. Okay. So, hey, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. All right, English. Okay, French, Spanish, Portuguese. All right, list goes on and on. So that was a judgment that the Lord brought the Spaniards to the Americas, because we went off. We went against Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. These are the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Okay, now that we're waking up to who we truly are, hey, we're bringing curses upon this place, and we're calling on the name of the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. We're praying that the Lord will bring destruction upon this place, Babylon the Great, because this place is a polluted city. All right, this is a polluted city. So Zephaniah 3:1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city, right? In Miami, that's known for being a polluted city, man. Okay. Spring breaks. Okay, fucking orgies and sex addicts and God knows what, man. Hey, they making the game GTA 6 based off of Miami. Okay. Let me ask, is GTA 6 based off of Miami? Yes, GTA 6 is based off on Miami, but was referred as by the fictional name Vice City. If you check out the name Vice, it means, what's the name? I think it means evil, meaning. The word vice generally refers to immoral, wicked, wicked and corrupt behavior. So, right, Vice City is a wicked city. Okay. In the context of Grand Theft Auto game series, the fictional city Vice City, reflecting the game's focus on crime, depravity, and greed. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening in Miami as we speak. And not just Miami, all this whole nation, America, is a polluted city. It's an oppressing city upon the Israelites, man. Okay? So the Lord's going to bring destruction upon this place. This is Zephaniah 3 and 2. She obeyed not the voice. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord. Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. She drew not near to her God. Okay. It says her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw the bones till the morrow. Right. These princes, these judges, these cops, police officers, these lawyers, they're all wicked, man. Fucking evil. All right. You Edomites, y'all going to slavery according to Revelation 13 and 10. And the Lord's going to destroy this polluted city with thermonuclear fire. Because even if you go to nice places in Miami, don't get me wrong. Like I said, brothers like to travel. Brothers like to drink a little margarita and walk around in some nice places. But you have to understand that this place is built on the bloodshed of your people. No matter what tribe you're from Issachar to Ephraim, all right, to Manasseh, to Reuben, to Gad, to Judah, to Benjamin, Levi, Simeon. This is not our rest, man. Actually, let me grab that real quick. This is not our rest. Look what happened to Terrence Crawford, man. He got pulled over by a cop after he won a big ass boxing championship. Okay. Here it is. You the biggest boxing championship in the world, and these police officers pulling you over. Don't y'all see that I just won one of the biggest boxing championships in history? But hey, they still treat you as a nigga, man. This is not our rest. No matter how famous and rich you and how influential you are, hey man, this place is not our rest, man. This is Micah 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with the sword of destruction. So right, this place will destroy you with the sword of destruction. The more you wrap yourself around this place, the more it will destroy you. So Yahweh by Shem Yahushai is not playing, man. This place will actually destroy you with the sword of destruction. All right, these Edomites are not playing, and that's okay, because hey, you Edomites, y'all going to slavery, man. Y'all going to slavery. Let me grab this one last scripture. All right, I'm gonna end it off here. All right, Revelations 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, and the saints are the Israelites. So this man built his city on the bloodshed of the Israelites. He enslaved the Israelites. So guess what? The Israelites are going to slave you Edomites, and not just you Edomites. Because if we go to Miami and certain luxurious places, if you watch walkthroughs of certain cities, these heathens are living just like an Edomite, and they living better like an Edomite, man. They're receiving privileges just like an Edomite. So not just Esau, Edom, but you Moabites, you Ammonites, you Japhites, okay, you Ishmaelites, you Elamites, all you nations are going to captivity. We don't give a fuck how you feel. We don't give a fuck how you fucking feel, man. I don't give a fuck if you're a little Edomite boy, little Edomite girl, or a Hamite kid, or you from a rich Elamite East Indian family. We don't give a fuck. You build a city off the blood of the fucking Israelites, man. And I'm a Reubenite. I feel some type of way. How much is Judah, man? Because Judah's the head tribe. And not just you not only that you fucked up Judah, you fucked up all the tribes in certain ways, man. So you heathens, man, y'all going to captivity. We don't give a fuck about your feelings, your tears, your crying, your pain. You build cities of the blood of our people. We're gonna build cities of the blood of your people, man. But we're not even gonna we're not even gonna give a fuck, man. We're not even gonna shed a single goddamn drop of tear or feeling for you fucking heathens. Say, hey, man, brothers that are from the tribe of Reuben, man, and not just the tribe of Reuben, but all Israelites, tribes, but mainly you Reubenites, man. Hey, it's all good, man. The kingdom. All right. See, fucking bug out. This dumbass nigga. Shut the fuck up. Joe 9. This nigga just be saying shit. All right. But you brothers that are from the tribe of Reuben, man, hey man, and sisters that are from the tribe of Reuben, don't worry. The Lord got us, man. The Lord gonna heal our wounds, heal our pain. And when I mean the tribe of Reuben, I mean the elect of Reuben. But not just and also you other brothers from and sisters from other tribes, from Judah to all the way down to Issachar. Okay. All the tribes of Israel will be restored unto their highest glory of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. So with that, call all Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakah Kadash. Shalom, Malak. Shalom. Shalom to all you Akim Akwa. Shalom.